has had a hard life, and it's finally time to start showing her a bit of love. We've got big plans for giving her a bit of TLC, but first things first, we need to sort out the canopy setup.
So today, I'm going to show you a bunch of cheap and easy DIY mods that you can do in your shed at home. And as well as that, I've already installed one of the coolest and easy to install 12-volt systems that you can get, and I can't wait to show it to you.
Sean and I built this canopy over a year ago in his shed, 2 days before taking it to Fraser Island. It then did some tough as nails tracks up and down the east coast.
In one day, I'm going to completely overhaul this canopy to make it a bit more livable out in the bush. So one of the things I've really got to sort out is waterproofing this canopy. When it rains, it leaks like a sieve. So I'm basically just going to be sealing a lot of the gaps because there's a few of them. I don't think Sean and I made this entirely square when we put it together.
After giving the gaps a good clean and removing any mud or dirt in them, I'm just using an automotive sticker to fill them in. This isn't going to be perfect by any means, and I don't think it'll get to 100% waterproof, but it'll do a pretty good job of stopping most of the water getting inside the canopy.
So while I've got all the canvas off to do some waterproofing, I'm also going to be gusseting and doing a few running repairs on the canopy frame as well. The reason for that is on the last trip in the Wattos, Matt lent the pony into the bank and it cracked the frame on that side. And then before the next trip, before I left, I just pulled it back with a ratchet strap and glued it back together. But I've just noticed since taking the canvas off on this side, there's a crack in the frame here. So it must have been a pretty decent hit. And then I'm just going to be going through all the welds and inspecting them for cracks. Once I do that, I'll be able to clean them up and weld them back together. And then I'm going to be just running some gussets in the frame, probably on the four corners and on this backside here. Fortunately, this canopy is precision engineered to very fine tolerances. So I'm working with real easy things to fix. It's good when everything's square. So what I'm gonna do now is just brace the corners of the canopy. Now, the rough plan is I'm gonna sort of gusset between here and here, and then I think I'll probably run one down there as well, a bit smaller, maybe just a little triangle in the corner there, just to try and give it a bit of strength. Because this kicks out, it's not gonna be as easy. What I think I will do instead is just weld up from this frame and down and try and come onto this front face here, just so you got a nice sort of straight path with it. Cool, so basically it's just gonna gusset in there. The good news is now I've made one, I can just make the second one for the other side. So I'm only gonna do this style on these back corners and I'll do something different for this side and the front. So I just gotta make the other one and we'll be good to tack it all in. These projects are great for practicing your welding, but another thing that's, I think, really important to do is practice welding in awkward spots. Like you can't always have, you know, the job that you're working on a nice workbench where you've got plenty of access, particularly if you're working on cars and you're welding up things on the chassis. Sometimes you'll be in awkward positions with a leg in the air and your arm around like that. So just get comfortable being in weird positions. So I just want to show you a little tip when you're welding, and here's something that I should have done better, but I just want to show you. See at the top there, kind of isn't really in where, like I've kind of started a bit too further over this side, and then I've worked my way down. I've gotten the wire into the gap a bit more and worked my way down. And that's just because I was probably going a bit quick at the top here and my gun was probably aimed a little bit too far at the top. So the way to fix that is just to make sure you keep your gun consistent the whole way down. You can see I've realized at the top here, and then I've fixed it and then aimed the gun a little bit more and then just finished off the weld down the bottom. But it's just a little tip. Yeah, just take your time, and the more you do this sort of stuff, like I didn't do a very good job with the top bit just then. I've been doing this for a while, so yeah, it's always a good way to learn. Yeah, but it'll be strong, particularly for this canopy anyway.
While I'm at it, I'm also going to install a Drifta Stockton awning.
How cool's that? The frame's all done and I've just installed the Drifta Stockton awning. It's becoming a little bit of a super tourer, I reckon. Now, I want to show you the 12 volt setup I got.
When we first built the pony Canopy, I installed one of KickAss's original battery boxes. It worked well for the Cape and Fraser Island, but recently they released their new battery box, which is even better than the last with a heap of design improvements.
So one of the awesome things about this setup is they've designed the new portable battery box with a tray that you hard mount in the vehicle, and have a look at how easy it is to remove. So there's just 2 straps on either side that you undo, and then just the Anderson plugs from the back for whatever you've got, input, vehicle or solar, and then out she comes. How cool is that? So if you haven't seen this yet, I just thought I'd pull it out and sit on the tailgate with it so you could get a bit of a better look, because it's an awesome portable 12 volt setup. And that's one of the best things about it. You can remove it from your vehicle easily, put it in, your camper trailer or your boat, or you can even take it down to the fire with your fridge so you can have cold beers at camp. But one of the best things is you can tell KickAss have used quality components throughout it, even down to, I pulled the lid off to have a look, and the wiring underneath, you'll never need to do that, but the wiring inside the lid here was developed in-house by the KickAss electrical engineering team, and you can just tell they've used higher quality wiring for all the electrical connections as well. Speaking of which, first up, it's got a 25 amp DC charger on the top, which will take 25 amps of charge into your battery from your vehicle's alternator, but you've also got the option of a solar input on the back as well. So this has got an inbuilt solar regulator, which means you can just plug a panel straight into it. If you've got a portable panel, like one that's got a regulator you can't bypass, the KickAss ones you can bypass a regulator, but if you don't have one of them, you can plug it straight into one of these 4 Anderson input outputs on this side, and there's also 2 more on the back here. Speaking of which, on the back, they've flush mounted on the lid the Anderson plugs behind the base of the lid, which means that you can mount it straight up hard against a wall and still get access to these Anderson plugs if you need it. It's just those little things you can tell they've really spent time trying to get the design of this right, which makes it so handy for having a portable 12 volt system in the back of your vehicle. At the front here, you've got a whole bunch of little cigger plugs. There's 4 USB points, QC3, and I think they're 2.4 amp USB points. And then you've also got 2 cigger plugs as well for all your accessories. It's an awesome bit of kit, and you just saw how easy it was to remove because of the tray design as well. Pretty stoked with the setup on the back of the pony.
I installed this just before our mega East Coast trip with the 3 Hiluxes. Then I did another trip with the boys to Coffs Harbour last month, and it's been unreal. Also, while I was at it, I installed a KickAss fridge slide for my KickAss fridge, which fits perfectly in front of the battery here. Have a go at the clearance between the fridge and the battery box too. It's almost like I measured it.
So while I was on a bit of a roll installing some 12 volt gear, I also chucked on this old panel. Now, this has been sitting in my shed for a number of years. It's only about 60 watts, so it's not going to put out a heap of power. I just thought it'd be cool to chuck it on the roof just to help keep the battery topped up a little bit. All I did was just folded up some little alloy brackets, one on each corner, and bolted it to the roof. A handy tip though, if you are going to install a solar panel on your roof, they're never going to be as efficient when they're flat like this as if they are facing the sun on an angle. This is just one of those cheap and easy DIY upgrades you can do to just make your setup a bit more livable. Now, it's worth noting this panel doesn't actually have a regulator, but the beauty is, like I mentioned earlier, that KickAss battery box DC charger has an inbuilt solar regulator, which means all I did is literally run the cable down to the battery box and plugged it into the solar input. It's super easy.
Guys, just a reminder that KickAss's huge $6,000 giveaway is on right now, where you can go in the draw to win a massive prize pack. Just check out some of the stuff you can get. You can get one of their brand new KickAss battery boxes, a 300 watt portable solar panel, a 20 amp charger, 700 watt inverter with some leads to plug into your battery box, a wiring kit, some jumper leads for your battery box, one of their famous shower tents, a vacuum sealer, a couple of fans, a couple of torches, even, that's not enough for you, a hot water system, travel oven, 120 amp hour battery, some jumper leads, plus stacks more. So if you want to go on the draw to win, jump on it quick and don't miss out. Just follow the link in the description and good luck. While I've got my welder out, I want to make a basic mount for my KickAss travel oven.
I've had this for a while and I've used it on some trips. It's been awesome, but I've never mounted it anywhere. And what I was thinking of doing is just building up a little frame to hang off the roof, because it doesn't weigh a lot. So I was going to put it maybe somewhere there, and then just run the Ando plug, because it's plug and play, just run it down to the battery box and plug it straight in. So this is the rough design I've come up with. So all that's going to happen is this angle is going to just weld to the crossbars on the top of the canopy. Now, you probably could just use one bit of angle across the middle and that would be enough because the pie doesn't weigh a lot. I just decided to do two because, well, over-engineering is underrated, I reckon. So yeah, all I've done now is I've just bolted it all together and this will give me the length that these need to be separated with. So when I tack them in, I can take these back off, test fit with the pie oven. If it's all good to go, then I can burn them in. But at least that just gives me my distance right without having the pie oven sitting there.
With it all tacked in place, let's see how she fits.
That sits pretty good, I reckon. Let's take it out, burn the mounts in. How sick's that? The KickAss travel oven's mounted. I've just plugged it straight into the battery box, so now I've got easy access to hot pies. Yummy.
With the canopy strengthened and the waterproofing done, it's time to get the canvas back on and show you guys one more sick little mod.
Righto, so next up, I'm gonna make a little water tank using a 20-litre jerry. I know what you're thinking, it's a 20-litre jerry, why don't you just open the tap down the bottom? Well, the idea behind it is I wanna leave this further in the canopy and not have to grab it each time I want water. I actually got this idea from our producer, Josh. It's a sick idea he's got in his Touring 200 series for just easy, quick access to water. Obviously, 20 litres isn't a huge amount, but it's enough for a weekend. And I don't wanna go putting a mega tank in the pony just to try and keep the weight down. 20 litres will be enough for me, for a couple of campsites and, you know, to wash dishes and stuff like that. I'll show you what I got in mind. All right, so I'm trying to do this on the cheap. So what I'm doing is I bought this little pump. Now these are like 25 bucks or so. Online you can get them delivered. It's just a little 12 volt inline pump. The way it's gonna work is I'm gonna chuck this inside the tank, run the cable up and out to a little outlet. I'm gonna drill a hole up the top to run the wiring out of and then seal that so nothing leaks out of it. And then inside there, I'm gonna run I've got some food grade hose that's gonna run from here out to an outlet, and then on the other side of the outlet, this is basically just gonna be a little bulkhead fitting, and the hose will come out and then connect it to this little tap, which was a couple of bucks at the hardware store. See how it works. Originally, I was thinking of putting the jerry can up in front of the tire, and the only issue with that is if I ever wanted to take the tire out, I'd have to pull the jerry can out. I've changed my mind, and I'm actually gonna put it there on the side. You still got heaps of access, and this is kind of a weird wasted space sort of thing that I just chuck stuff in as I go. And then the storage box I've got slides in there. And because of that, I've actually changed my thinking a bit on how this is gonna work. So originally, I just got one of these tank outlets from the hardware store, and I was gonna drill a hole in the side and mount it through so it was nice and flush. And by doing that, it meant that the lid, when I filled it up, was unobstructed. Since then, I've decided now that it's on the side, I'm actually gonna mount it through the lid. There are a couple of reasons I've decided to do that. The first being it's less likely to leak when it's up the top here. And the second being just nice, easy access, because when it's on the side, it just means it's easier to grab and get out of the way. So that's how it's gonna sit. And then after that, there's just gonna be another little fitting, and then the hose will come from there. All right, so up here, I've just got a little cable gland. I've drilled it up high enough that I could get the nut on the other side with my finger, so that's nice and tight, and the cable runs through there. So this can plug into the KickAss battery box. I've just got put a little fuse in line. So this is just gonna sit in here, like that. And now all I gotta do is just sit it down there so there's enough excess. Trim this, put it back on. Oh, get in there, how cool is this?
With the food grade hose connected at the bottom of the tank to the pump and clamped at the top, all that's left is to attach the access hose, run the electrical for the pump, and fit it into position in the tub of the pony. Then I can fill it up and see if it works. I hope it works. We'll see.
All right, now for the test, let's plug it into the battery box. Cool. How do we go? Bit of pressure on the dog. We'll wash the car. I should probably stop spraying water inside the shed. That's mad. I reckon that's a pretty cool little DIY mod for running water at camp. How cool's that? Let's tuck this away. Pony's got a water tank. She's becoming a proper super tourer. Well, how much fun was that? Just one day in the shed, and I've braced and waterproofed the canopy. I installed a Drifta Stockton awning, also mounted the KickAss travel oven properly, and the other weekend I chucked in the KickAss fridge slide and the new KickAss battery box as well. I've also managed to kit it out with a trick new DIY water storage setup. The Pony's a pretty capable old vehicle, but now I reckon she'd be pretty comfy to live out of at camp as well. It's got me wondering though, what mods do you want to see next to the Pony? We've got heaps more to do, and I really want to see what you guys reckon I should do next, because I'm always open for more ideas on how I can improve the old girl. But speaking of which, we've got a couple of big plans, and they involve fixing some dented panels and also sorting out a bit of the rust. So keep an eye out, because we're not done yet with giving the Pony some TLC, and I'm pretty keen to crack in and give it a go. I'll catch you next time, eh?